Hello everybody and welcome to the After Action Report final episode, summing up round-off episode of my series of Let's Play Stellaris. Now that was a very long sentence and it was a bit of a mouthful, but effectively what I have realised and what it's important to realise and to understand about games like Stellaris and other 4X games, anything by Paradox or people like them, is that they quite often don't really have an end. And the best thing you can do, personally, is to decide what your objectives are, and then when you meet them, you can go, yeah, I've won, and then stop. I mean, you can carry on, there's nothing to stop you carrying on, but I basically have reached that point, so I just kind of wanted to very briefly talk through the galaxy one last time and explain my thinking and why there won't be another episode in this particular series. So here we are the Free Scruffy Peoples, and as you can see by volume we seem to have that. I mean, if that's halfway across the galaxy and that's halfway across the galaxy, we've definitely got a solid quarter of the galaxy plus all of this bit up here. So I mean, maybe 5/8 of the galaxy belongs to us. We have been playing for 142 years, and we are now quite substantially in the lead. So if we just go to the contacts page and sort it into relative power, so what you can see here is if I move this, can I move this around? No, I can't move this around, but I can move the map around. So the only people who are overwhelming, massively powerful, are this little blue blob here. They are the Dark Continuance. They are a fallen empire, which is a special mechanic in the game Stellaris. Effectively, they start the game with all of the tech, but they've sort of slipped into decadence and not really caring, and they just sort of do what they like on their own planet. Now, what this says, they have an overwhelming fleet power, and they have an overwhelming technology level. But despite the fact that they have every single tech in the game and a whole bunch of repeat techs, I have an equivalent economy to theirs. So basically, if nothing changed for a long time, what they won't develop in any way, they won't build any more ships, they won't do anything unless they become awakened. So I could spend 50 years probably gradually catching up in terms of fleet power and technology level, and then I could probably get away with destroying them and nicking all of their stuff, which would be ridiculous, high technology, end of game stuff. So really, although they would beat me now, I would beat them ultimately. So I'm not worried about it particularly too much. But if you actually then look at the marauding clans, that's kind of a sort of a side issue. If you actually just turn off primitives, fallen empires, and other, and we can just see these are now just the list of the actual spacefaring empires. And as you can see, we have these guys, the Urzo Commerce League, who, if I just shut this briefly, they are over here. They're this enormous thing, which probably have got, I mean, it's not as big as me, but it's a nice hefty chunk of the galaxy, and they're doing really well. So they're over there. They're not a threat to me because I mean, they're in a federation with somebody else, which I'm not in that federation, but they are the good guys because they're the ones who like me. We've got plus 167. It's all fantastic. Their equivalent, they've got a bigger fleet at the moment. I've just had a war. Not as good on tech, which means even if their big fleet turned up, my small fleet could probably take them anyway because they've got better guns. And also, the equivalence in economic power is an interesting thing because there's nothing to stop them expanding into this area. Let me shut that again. Hold on. They can expand into this area of space. I can expand into this area of space, and we can maybe have a little bit of a contested area here. But we don't need to. Neither of us need to. I've got so many planets that I could terraform and colonize and I've got more space than they have, so I could get much bigger much faster if I concentrated on doing that and not having any wars. So effectively I have beaten these guys, but I don't need to because they're my allies anyway. Next on down we've got the Nex up here. These were the second alien race I ever met, and they're a machine consciousness. Nobody likes them. They just basically do their own stuff. They're not really, they're not a threat to me because, I mean, yeah, they've got more stuff at the moment, but as I have previously said, I've just kind of finished having a war. If you look at my fleet, I've got 160 out of a potential 360 ships, so I could have 200 extra fleet power without causing a massive negative impact to my economy. So effectively they are, who are they? They've joined, who have they joined? They've actually now joined these guys. This is really funny, quite a funny turnaround. These guys have been at war with each other throughout most of the 140 years. And while I've been busy having a big war down here with the Bloodborne, who I have now destroyed entirely, they've finally got together. You know, so maybe these two together might potentially cause a bit of a mischief, but they won't cause any actual threat because I'm ahead. Everybody else is either inferior or pathetic. So what that basically means is that in terms of a traditional classic 4X game, I've won. If this was a game of Civilization, Master of Orion 2, Masters of Orion 3, you know, any of those sort of spacey 4X games, this point on the kind of the curve of power, I've got to the point where I'm so far ahead now that no one's going to be able to catch me unless literally everyone ganged up on me at once. And that's not going to happen because 1, 2, 3, the largest people, they're all allied with me, and I think a couple of them are in an actual formal federation with each other. These guys aren't going to fight anyone because they're conservers. They literally want to save not human, but biological life. So they might come and beat you up a bit if you're too naughty, but they're not going to wipe anyone out because that's literally the opposite of what they want from their sort of goal. So I have nothing to worry about. There's one group here of sort of, what do they kill? They kill everyone, don't they? What are they called? Yeah, fanatical purifiers. My brain's going there. So there's only one group of fanatical purifiers left. They are currently inferior with a pathetic economy, although they have got the same sort of fleet power. They're in I think they have been in a war, or they will be in a war. They certainly have had wars in the past between these guys and also between these guys, because they've also, these people, I think they wormholed themselves up here as well. So it's a nonsense, it's a nuisance. I don't particularly feel the need to play through that war because I'm going to win it really easily. I don't think that would make very good TV, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to declare myself the winner and leave it there. But what I'm going to do before I do that is I just want to tell you one thing, in case you are not familiar with Paradox and the way they have built this game. They have done something which most other 4X games never did, and that is they have included an end-of-game crisis, a kind of a galactic-level threat, which turns up normally after about 200 years, somewhere around about there. You can muck around with the sliders at the beginning of the game and change when it arrives. But yeah, so basically there is a thing coming which, and they've developed about 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 different things which might occur. I'm not going to spoil them for you because if you're not somebody who's played Paradox games, then it's a real treat. It's a bit of a sting in the tail, and sometimes you can have had 20 or 30 hours of amazing gameplay and you think yeah, it's going really well, and it's been really close, and it's tense, and then suddenly the end game crisis arrives and just destroys your entire space empire. And if you go on their forums, you can see people going, "It's too hard." It's not too hard. You just got it wrong, and you know, that's the way it goes. It's supposed to be a crisis. It's supposed to be a galactic level crisis. You're supposed to have to call in your allies. It might potentially wake up a fallen empire because it's so threatening, and it's great. And it could potentially knock you off your position of being the most powerful empire in the galaxy, and it might give your opposition people enough time to sort of make a fight of things. But what's more likely to happen is that if you don't deal with it, it will kill everyone and take over the entire galaxy. And when I say it's not just one thing. There's a whole bunch of different options that could happen, and they're all very cool. And some of them you can sort of bring about yourself, which is also a nice kind of hey, yeah, we've done all these great things. Oh no, we've attracted awfulness from intergalactic space. I don't need to go through that on this particular playthrough. I'm going to call it quits. I'm going to say that it was a good game, it was fun, I enjoyed myself, I learned something about the way the economy works in this new version of Stellaris. The other reason I'm stopping, the final reason I'm stopping, is because they brought out a new patch, new content, new mechanics, and I want to be able to play some games using those new mechanics. And if I carry on playing like this, I'm not going to get to do that. So I'm gonna stop this now, because the new patch breaks old saves. So you unfortunately, it's a kind of an either or. You either carry on with this game, or you play a new game with the new mechanics. You can't mix and match. Oh, that's a shame, but that's the way it goes. So I've had a really good time playing this. I hope that this has served as a kind of a nice little introduction. I mean, I say little. I think this is 23 or 4 episodes long, but it's been about half an hour each episode, so it's actually it's like an 11-hour series. But I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. I hope it's helped you. I hope maybe after this you're going to think, actually, I want to give this game a go. And if that is the case, let me know in the comments. And if you get stuck, ask me a question. Ask me on Twitter. Ask me in the comments on YouTube. Ask me wherever. Stalk me and find out where I live, and come and hang out outside my house and knock on the door, and I'll give you some advice on Stellaris. And I don't mind. I'm a nice guy. Probably don't do any of those last things. My wife will phone the police. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon with some new projects. Take care now. Bye bye.